I will go ahead and get us started. Welcome everyone to 1 Million Cups Mankato. Today is going to be a special 1 Million Cups event. We're having a town hall discussion to talk about 1 Million Cups and how we can serve the entrepreneurs in our community better. I will go quickly through these slides so that we have time to talk about everything else, but I want to let you know 1 Million Cups is supported by the Kauffman Foundation. It is a nationwide program. One of our goals with 1 Million Cups is to make sure that entrepreneurs in our community have the ability to get the help and assistance that they need to have their companies be successful. We have 3 key pillars for 1 million, or 4 key pillars for 1 Million Cups. They are presentations, not pitches. We try to create authentic connections. That means it's about how well you know people, not about how many people you know. And it is community run. It is not run out of the corporate. So everyone who is an organizer here is local to our community. And they're all volunteers. And finally, we try to be radically and intentionally inclusive. If you are thinking that presenting at 1 Million Cups could be helpful for your business, we want you all to apply to present. It isn't a sales pitch. It's an opportunity to share about your business, talk about the struggles that you're experiencing, and find some solutions to those struggles. If your company is less than 5 years old, you are eligible to present. We want to thank our sponsors. You can find them all on the screen. They help in a variety of ways, from providing us with a space for our events, sharing information about our events, and providing donuts and coffee that we have when we're meeting in person and that we're providing to people through our dice rolls when we're meeting virtually. And finally, we'd like to thank the organizers. I'll have the organizers introduce themselves. Mike Hahn is not going to be on until a little bit later today. So my name is Ryan Vesey. I'm an economic development specialist with Greater Mankato Growth.
Well, hi there. I'm Bobby Drenkler. I'm with Citizens Voices, and I'm very happy to be here this morning on this beautiful Minnesota morning.
Good morning, Gary Schatt with the SBDC. Thanks for joining our call. Very important session today. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Yvonne Carvo. I am the Director for the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Minnesota State Mankato.
Good morning, everyone. I am Caitlin. I am the student organizer for 1 Million Cups Mankato, and I help out with some of the marketing.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Hansen. I am co-owner of Functional Chiropractic Rehab, and I help out with the coaching.
And good morning. My name is Julie Fredrickson, and I own a company called J. Frey Consulting, and I help out with the marketing for 1 Million Cups as well. And Ryan, do you mind if I just go ahead and take it over?
There you go.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So welcome everyone to our 1 Million Cups Mankato Town Hall. We do have a key purpose here today, which is to leverage the involvement of our community to assess how 1 Million Cups is doing and identify ways to better provide the connections, presentations, and the education for all entrepreneurs here in the Mankato region. So keep that in mind as we get rolling through all these questions today. We're going to be asking for probably your favorite thing, which is opinion. Our goals today are to increase the pipeline of our presenters for 1 Million Cups. Last January, I believe, we did shift to meeting weekly. So that pipeline is very important for presenters to be able to keep up that weekly process. We want to ensure a safe space and sustainable community. And we want to engage all of the diverse groups throughout our region so that we don't just have the same people coming every week, though we love all of you. We want to be able to spread the word and continue to grow our outlook. So some logistics here today. I just want to talk about, oh, you know what? First of all, let's talk about our agenda. And with that, we are going to go through about, let's see, it's 6 questions as a whole group here today. And I'm not sure where we're at for, it looks like we have about 26 participants right now, which is awesome. We're going to go through 6 questions as a group. And then after that, we are going to break out into 4 breakout rooms. Each room will have a facilitator, but someone other than the facilitator will be assigned as the reporter. Now that reporter is going to take down notes And you guys will discuss over 20 minutes. You will discuss 4 key questions and come back to the main room. And at the end, those reporters will be giving the feedback from each one of those groups. Some logistics that will just make this pretty easy because we're going to be sharing a ton of opinions. If you could navigate to the participant screen or wherever you can find your raise hand button, if everybody can go ahead and take a moment to raise their hand for me so I know everybody knows how to use it. Go ahead and take just a moment to raise your hands. Awesome. Very nice. Very cool. Now we do have the ability to lower hands, but you do as well. So if you want to ask a question, go ahead and raise your hand and you will be called on as long as time allows. If you would like to put your question or your feedback in the chat, please, you can do that as well if you don't want to share it yourself. If you'd like to actually say it on video, go ahead and raise your hand. It will be helpful to put it in the chat as well because we are going to save those as notes for feedback so we can take that to later meetings and actually implement that feedback and create actions out of it. So if you, I will go ahead and lower these remaining hands that I see. So it looks like everybody knows how to do that part. So we are going to end with a poll here just because we want to get to know everybody who's in the room today. Thank you for launching that, whoever did that. And I just want you to pick your, which one you most identify here. How do you most closely identify? Are you a student? Do you have a business idea? Are you a startup entrepreneur in your first 3 years? Are you established over 3? Do you work in a business that supports? And then maybe you don't identify really with any of the above. And I realize that a lot of these can overlap. So just choose which one that you feel most like today or that you want to represent here today. Excellent. A lot of students, a lot of startup entrepreneurs. Very cool. A few established, a few working in the sector. Awesome. Very cool. Well, trying to keep an eye on the time here too. I think we are just about there. So I'm gonna go ahead. We have about 3 people who haven't voted, it looks like. Oh, there we go. We're just about there. We have 1 left. All right, I'll get moving on to the next screen to keep us in a timely manner. So again, if you want to share your feedback, please raise your hand. And if you would rather just add it to the chat, that's great as well. So our first question here today, we're gonna take about 3 minutes and discuss why you come to 1 million cups. And I know it's hard for everyone to want to be the first person, but please raise your hand if you'd like to share why you come to 1 million cups. I know me personally, as an entrepreneur in the community, I did not necessarily come from a family of entrepreneurs. So it was hard getting started up. The support system wasn't really there. My father was an entrepreneur years ago, but he had quit that when I was born. So he was very supportive, but I just needed to surround myself with other entrepreneurs and those at every stage of the system that I could gain that advice to help me looking up and also kind of corral people around me for that support. Would anyone else like to raise their hand and share? Let's see if I can open the chat here too and maybe just share some who don't want to raise their hand.
I can go, Julie.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah.
Yes, I come to 1 Million Cups to connect with other entrepreneurs and even other people in the community since we moved here recently. So
awesome. I know we have a lot of students in the room. Would any of you feel comfortable sharing why you like coming to 1 Million Cups?
Julie, it looks like we had someone in chat note that they enjoy listening to the pitches and feedback from everyone. They said it's fun to hear what people are working on so they can spread the word.
Awesome. I agree. Yes, very much.
Julie?
Yes.
I come to, offer any assistance that I can help anybody else out in and answer any questions if they need them or give recommendations or suggestions. So.
That's excellent. Very valuable. I know some enjoy
Well,
the networking.
I support 1 million cups because of everything is always new, and there's nothing like new. Uh, so everything that I've been we've been going on now for 2.5 years, and we started out once a month, and I couldn't wait for the new idea to come up. And it was really something awesome over the years watching the new things grow into something that really works. Uh, Athletics and business wise, everything. Very nice. Very rewarding too. 2.5 years now. Congratulations.
What were some of your favorite innovative ideas, Bobby? I can think of a few
Uh,
right away.
yeah, I really like the athletic collar gear that was presented. I thought that was remarkable. Um, the of course traction is always a favorite because it's an ongoing rewarding experience. All you got to do is read the book. Um, Most importantly, I think it's the concept of the newness of the people making their presentation for the first time, that they get the experience of producing a script for themselves that they will be using often for probably the rest of their lives. And being in the studio business, scripting is the most important part. Yeah, you have to have a script in order to do your presentation, and bingo, I've seen some very remarkable scripts being put together here.
That's awesome. Thank you, Bobby. I am going to switch it to the next question just because I feel like it's pretty relative, but start thinking about what keeps you coming back then each week. I think we've talked a little bit about that. I do want to share, Brittany in the chat shared that she loves seeing the businesses and learning more about them, and agrees with Mason that the feedback from both experienced business owners and new owners and even the non-business owners has been awesome as well. Oh, Yvonne shared with us that the the business that Bobby had shared was Kate Collar, and you can see a video of their presentation on 1millioncups.com/Mankato. David stated that he enjoys and appreciates the energy and the ideas, the networking that allows you to meet new folks. Maya shared that she hadn't heard of 1 Million Cups before taking an entrepreneurship class at MSU, and after coming for the first time last week, came back because she likes hearing about people who have successfully become an innovator. That's awesome, Maya. Welcome. Lindsay stated that she likes hearing the pitches too and hearing the ideas from the group afterward. I think it's so interesting, the people that we've had come across. I think of the ideas that we've seen come over from even just since COVID hit us 6 months ago, the ideas to keep us safe, and Yvonne, you're gonna have to help me because I don't remember half the products' names, but there was the thing that you put on the shirt that kept you from touching your face, and then there was the hook that you could just kind of have on your keychain, so you could use it to write on your phone or open like cooler doors at the store, kind of thing. That just such cool ideas.
Yeah, No Touch is the product that you attach to your chest. Actually got one right here.
Oh, that's just so cool. What a great idea.
No Touch, yeah, it's really a cool product.
I still think of that all the time because I play with my hair so much. But I'm like, what did stop me from playing with my hair?
Yeah. There's one of the reasons I really love coming to Million Cups and why I keep coming back is the connectivity. Like happened with Kate and from cabin number 4 with their t-shirts, and Jenny from the Circle Inn, where they met at Million Cups. They kind of heard each other's story. They went, hey, I could help you. Yeah, you could help me. And they got together, and then they got a couple of other women, and they did a pop-up store at Jenny's Circle Inn, outside this summer. So that's one of the reasons I love coming, is trying to see if I can help people find those connections. Those are fun.
That is fun. Check. I like him. Okay. I'll take a quick check. Just a reminder, if you want to give any of your feedback, you can just chime in, or you can go ahead and raise your hand too. we don't have everybody raising their hands, so we can be pretty informal here if you want to chime in. All right, and just to keep us timely, I'm going to go ahead and go to this next question. So how do you believe 1 Million Cups fits into our community? What kind of a resource is it for the community, and how can we share that with the community? I know we have some entrepreneurs in here who value 1 Million Cups. So we've shared what it means to you. Something in chat. Yvonne states it helps tie together the various organizations that help entrepreneurs. Anybody else have some feedback?
Well, I could mention the fact that we come from a society of inventors. If I think it's at Redwood Falls where we have the Inventors Congress, they keep track of all of the people that have come up with something creative and inventive. In our area in Minnesota here, especially in our farming communities, we've established over the last 150 years, we've created the highest food agricultural production on the planet with hybrid seed. Now, hybrid seeds are changed the world. To give you an example, back in the late 60s, when it first started in Olivia, Minnesota with RBA, Round Horse Bellows and Associates, hybrid seeds were unheard of. And corn was about the size of your hand. And all of a sudden, corn now is the size of your arm. So that's where the food production comes in. You look around the water, what we do in the water business, and what we do in our lifestyle. I think that we're probably on the top of the list as far as the innovation.
That's awesome. Yes. Also in chat, David mentioned great source of information, business and educational assistance. Lots of feedback in the chat. I'm not going to read them all just for a timely manner, but how it fits into our community, I think the unique piece of it is there are quite a few networking organizations in and around Mankato. It's very much a bustling entrepreneurial community in the area. The thing I think 1 Million Cups does different than all of them is it really cultivates sort of a mentorship on all levels. I love how that kind of feeds up and you actually see the growth and the connection. It's not just connection. It's not just lateral. It's you can see that climb together. So speaking of which, who do you think needs to know about 1 Million Cups? Who are we maybe not reaching? Who can you think of needs to know more about 1 Million Cups?
I would think maybe people who are new to the area, they've just moved to the Mankato or St. Peter and they're just not aware of the groups that are out there.
Absolutely. That's great feedback because I don't know that we have talked recently, maybe in the past, but I don't know that we have talked recently about specifically how are we going to reach out to new people in the area. Does anyone else have any feedback? Whoops. I don't know what I hit there, but there we go.
I think there are a lot of entrepreneurs of color in the area that don't know about Million Cups. And I think it could be a great resource for us and for them to get to know one another more.
Absolutely. I think it'd be a great discussion then, and I don't think it's our next question, but a great discussion on how do we reach the newcomers to the area, the people of color who are entrepreneurs in the area. How do we specifically reach them? And if we're not reaching them in our current ways, what's a different way that we can reach out to them?
Looking at Maya's note in chat, where she said college students with entrepreneurial mindsets. So obviously the students that take Yvonne's class find out about 1 million cups, but how do we reach the rest of them? Um, are we able to give the college flyers that they can put up? Would they do that? Or is there a better way to reach the students that might not know about it? Because I'm sure in the engineering department, there's probably quite a few emerging entrepreneurs, and in the business department. I mean, I'd
Agreed.
imagine
Is it
most
flyers? Is there a way we could put it out kind of on handshake? It's not really a job, but an opportunity. Flyers, awesome. It would be wonderful to discuss that in more detail in terms of the students with some of the students who are on campus and see the things that they are. So Maya, we'd probably like to hear a lot more of your feedback on that and how we can reach you and your peers most effectively. Career fairs. That's a great idea, Gabby.
Caleb brought up a really good one too. There's a student engagement fairs that happen in the fall and the spring, and putting a booth there. Yeah.
That's an idea. And for new residents, you could put a flyer in like the welcome package along with those local business. Yeah, that's a good idea. So about student marketing club. Excellent. All right. I'm gonna check my time here. Oh, I'm getting a little behind. So we are already kind of, I think, talking about that. Who is 1 million cups missing? And not even just for attendance, but I guess maybe in a presenting aspect. For those of you who have attended several times, even if it's just more recent, like this summer, since COVID hit, since we've been online, maybe you're new to visiting us weekly. Maybe you've been with us for quite a while and you've been both in person and online. Maybe you were only in person and you saw that we wanted to have this town hall and you just came on today. Who are we missing? We kind of talked a little bit about who needs to know about it, but who also for presenting, for attending, garage inventors like that. Older groups as well, for sure. You know, I wonder in this time and I haven't seen the studies, Ryan, maybe you've seen some come across your desk, but how many people are switching to an entrepreneurial path? And we're not all necessarily young, right? We're not all necessarily students. We're not all necessarily in our 20s, 30s, even 40s. There's probably people that were approaching close to even retirement. Maybe they're retired and they're looking for a little extra on the side or something. How do we reach that demographic?
Julie, on that note, and I won't go into all of it here today, but they categorize entrepreneurs depending on who it is. And, I've seen 6 different groups, and one of those is entrepreneurs that became entrepreneurs because it was their best option. And that happens a lot during recessions. So, we're probably entering a time when we're going to see more and more people take those ideas that they've been sitting on, but they've had a comfortable job and not moving forward on, and they'll be ready to move forward on now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more entrepreneurship over these next couple of years.
Absolutely. I wonder too, with the changes with schooling and daycares and how everything will be kind of transcending the next few months or the next year, how how parents will have to figure something out to be home with their kids or do homeschooling, or I'll be interested to see what those numbers look like looking back, because I would imagine we're not the only couple in a boat where the kids couldn't go back to school or daycare kind of thing. And then finally, our final kind of group discussion question is going to be, if we end up remaining online like this. So when we started back in March, when we kind of got rolling online and all the systems kind of went online, I think everybody thought, this is only like this for about 2 weeks. And then it was 6 weeks. And then it was, oh, after summer. And now summer vacation's over and we're back to work. And I really get this feeling that the community is going, oh, okay, well, we're still in this. Now what? Now how are we going to roll? So we're obviously probably going to be in this format for at least a little while, maybe a long while yet. So what suggestions do you have to make these Zoom meetings more engaging and appealing? What would incite you to be engaged? What do you like about some Zoom meetings that you've attended? That kind of thing. I'd love to hear that feedback. Mike says he's semi-retired and starting a new company. Congratulations, Mike. That's awesome.
Gabrielle has her hand raised.
Oh, go ahead, Gabby.
Hey, so just speaking from personal experience, I think the online venue is an amazing opportunity for people who aren't necessarily located right in Mankato. So I'm like an hour and 15 away, but there's such a huge, I know like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had people from Springfield presenting, which is just down the road from me. So you have like this wide berth and this unlimited opportunity to connect with people who might not always be in Mankato. So I think that's unlimited tapped potential.
That's great feedback. Our on the road is really love. I think that's amazing too. I visited and spoke at a few community events that they have kind of everywhere. So like social media breakfast for one, we hold here too. They have them kind of speckled throughout southern Minnesota. And of course our turnout is quite a bit higher being a bigger town, but it's nice that we can kind of pull all of that together as one giant community. I totally agree with that. I think it's very cool the reach that we can have online. Michelle, if you would like to. Hi, I can't hear you. You have another mute. It looks like you're unmuted. Oh no. Okay, that's okay. If you want to put it in the chat, I can read it for you too. Okay, cool. Would anyone else like to? Maya says she agrees with that. I'm not living in Mankato at this time, so if it wasn't on Zoom, I probably wouldn't be able to make it to as many for sure. And you know what? There's a point where it's just a matter of time too, right? It's a matter of, even if you live in town, it can still take 10-15 minutes to drive somewhere, and not to mention all the time it takes to get ready, and if you have kids, the childcare, and the various things that we can be dealing with just to get somewhere. The money for gas or the coffee that you'll get on the way, and the more we eat out, and the health, and oh my gosh, that could really go down domino effects, right, when we have to go places. All right, what time are we getting to be here? Okay, so while you guys are thinking on that, please feel free to keep giving that feedback in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and work out these breakout rooms. And I don't see.
A couple people in chat mentioned the idea of, networking. Personally, I find these kinds of conversations some of the most engaging things that we do, in Million Cups, when, when everybody's speaking up in chat or when they're talking and sharing their ideas. That's really fun, Another thing that I was thinking about was I have boxes and boxes of Million Cups tumblers and things, and maybe that'd be one way to kind of connect folks, is figure out a way to like give these away and everybody can be drinking out of the same tumblers as we're talking, just like a little physical thing, right? That you have that. And I have literally probably 4 boxes of these. So maybe we can think of some way for everybody to, here to get a tumbler.
That's a great idea. I know I like the giveaways. I don't know anybody who doesn't like a giveaway. Personally, I like the polls. Really taking advantage of the polls. In fact, I was thinking just the other day as we're pulling this town hall together, we could probably put the polls somewhere in there, but it could be, all the technical background aspects, but things that are engaging, things that we can talk about, maybe a piece of open networking in the beginning or at the end with a question. But all right, so here's what we're going to do next. we are going to go into breakout rooms. You've all been randomly placed in a breakout room. So in a moment, a little box will pop up and ask you to join. I do have facilitators in each room. So Gary will be in room 1 as a Gary Schott. I have Bobby Drangler in room number 2. I have Sarah Hansen in room number 3, and I have Yvonne Caribou in room number 4 as facilitators. But as a group, someone other than that facilitator will be assigned to be a reporter. So we'll be looking for volunteers and they'll be helping you along with that. And you'll get about 5 minutes each to answer each of these questions. Ideas for making 1 million cups better. How do we get more people to apply to present? How do we better engage those diverse groups in our region? And suggestions on how to better market 1 million cups. So you'll get about 5 minutes apiece. I will do my best to send out chat notifications to kind of help you guys stay on time if you're getting really into the conversation, but I'm going to go ahead and let her roll so you guys have plenty of time to chat. So have fun. Here we go.
Well, hello, breakout room.
Morning.
4.
Hello.
Cool hat.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Morning, Gary.
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
Good.
Good group. Okay, so we've got our questions. How do we make 1 million cups better? I'll take notes. Oh, and first we have to decide who's going to be our reporter to report back out when we get back, because it can't be me.
It's not, I can't do it because I'm not good at doing that.
I'll do it.
Thanks, Whitney.
My mind stays focused for about half a second and goes on to something else. So.
Okay, so suggestions for how we make 1 million cups better for entrepreneurs, knowing our main goal is helping entrepreneurs.
That's a good question. I guess out of all the questions that I've read there, it just basically, I think it's just explaining what 1 million cups is in more greater detail. Because if you came up to me randomly on the street and just said, hey, you should join 1 million cups, I'm going to be like, I don't even know what that is. You know, so.
It doesn't have a very descriptive name, right?
I really like the idea about like adding information about 1 million cups to the GMG baskets. I just think that like getting us out there more would obviously be really beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Add that to the marketing ideas list. I like that.
I think if we would, the participants that have been involved with it over time, keep sending out, you know, do you have a company or an entrepreneur that would be interested in this, to keep reminding us. It's easy to let things kind of slide to the back. And I'll be very honest, it was easier for me with the once a month physical attendance sometimes than Zoom meetings. It seems like the Zoom meetings get walked on by other Zoom meetings and you wind up needing to be in 3 places at once. And when you went to Mankato, you didn't have to worry about that. So, but just keeping it in front of us so that we're, as we talk to people, we can remind them and point them in the 1 million cups direction.
Like that. Reminders. These are good marketing ideas. Going back to the, how do we make the thing itself better? Is there anything that we could be doing that you think would make it better for entrepreneurs, that would give more value to an entrepreneur to come?
Yvonne, do you think you ride a fine line with that, to where when you have an entrepreneur, talking about themselves? I mean, I think the question remains, how do you couple that with education? SBDC has an education side.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's more of a question to you. Do we bring education into the 1 million cups? Number one. But I think number two, when and if we ever go back to face-to-face, I think we still need to stay on the Zoom live to do that.
And then I think there was a first comment, making sure people understand what 1 million cups is and what it does and what it means. And I think that's critical. So somebody had mentioned that, and that was a great idea. I think if people understand what goes on there and how it can happen, I think that's critical.
I thought we had 5 minutes on each question. So any
We
more?
do, Julie set out a little reminder saying that we're gonna pop out and then she'll pop us back in,
Oh,
so.
okay. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought we had more time.
That was a quick 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
The alternative time warp of being in Zoom. I feel like a Star Trek episode just happened.
Oh, man.
Some good ideas already. I wrote a couple of them down for you, Brittany.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm keeping notes as we talk too.
We're back again. Cool. So we were talking about how to make 1 million cups better. And then the next question is, how do we get more people to apply to present for 1 million cups? I know I've been working on trying to, my angle is through the university, right? So I've been trying to encourage student entrepreneurs to apply to present and talk about their businesses. And sometimes I get, a bunch of people that will apply. But right now, it's just been dead. Everybody says, yeah, I'll think about it, but they don't actually apply and do it. Any thoughts about that?
Hmm.
How do we get people to apply to present? Because we want to hear their stories and we want to help.
Well, and I don't know if Gary said it, but I kind of like the idea of like relying on our current participants. So like maybe like at the end of the like the time that we have, just like send out a thing. Who would you like to hear present in the upcoming week? So that way we can like give our feedback, because I know like I have some friends that aren't technically in Mankato, but 501c3s and stuff like that, that I mean, I could talk to, so that you can come in and, talk about what they do too. So
Be a good idea.
buying like our current.
Yvonne, how are the on-the-road responses coming as far as getting presenters?
When we do the on the roads, this has been pretty good. We've had a couple of on the roads though, where the economic development folks, the folks that Gary's been working with, have been a bit of a barrier. So that's been weird, and we've been trying to figure that out. It's like, well, why would you not want to showcase your businesses, But so that's something we're trying to like figure out how to, deal with. But generally, if we have someone, like you guys in Waseca, where you're willing to find presenters in the community, those have been fantastic, and they've been really good presentations. They've been very interesting and maybe eye-opening for folks going, hey, look at all the neat stuff that's happening, I think one of the things that is hard is, public speaking is frightening for people. And, you're an entrepreneur, you're working away at your thing, you're already feeling like you're up to here, and you got to get over this fear and, and actually, and there's also, I think, an expectation that it's going to be a really professional, slick, pitch, because, people are going to be judging you or something. And I think we need to really de-emphasize the show idea.
Yeah.
And talk about it more as this is just a support group of people just like you who are struggling and figuring stuff out too,
Yeah. I guess maybe adding that in as far as like presenter, like, hey, do you want to present for this? Because this is what we, we want to be able to try to help you in order to direct and, stuff like that. So.
Right.
Or maybe even if we didn't like call it presenting, just like, hey, do you want to come educate us about what you do?
Oh, yes.
Because like when I hear presenting, I'm like, oh, there needs to be a presentation. Like there's got to be this whole setup, this whole like scripted workout. But like somebody were like, hey, can you come and talk to me about what you do? That's a completely, different vibe than, hey, will you come present?
I like that. Yeah. Well, like Dustin did, he actually showed us, here's some of the things that we do. He showed us some drawings and gave us a real feeling for the kinds of capabilities that he had, it was really neat.
Thank you.
So our
Yvonne,
next, oh, go ahead.
you almost kind of told the story. If you, like you and Gary work with people, helping them get ready for this, maybe having a short video, going through what you can do to help prepare people, not only for the 1 million cups presentation or education, but how it may help them with other things as they're working through, if they need to talk to people for finance or find other suppliers or vendors, whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea.
I feel like everybody's kind of nailed it. Brittany, I think that's a good idea if you give it a different spin. But I think as part of, too, maybe what Gary and even Dustin touched on is if we could spin it a little bit as part of the program, maybe you do a tiny infomercial at each Million Cups program that simply states, this is how 1 million cups, Yvonne and Gary can help you prepare to have you come and tell us about yourself. And I think if you can do that, that helps, because I think people, yes, it was said that they feel overwhelmed. They definitely do. Some people may not be all that comfortable presenting, so to speak, but if we turn it and, they understand that, hey, we're going to help you put a slideshow together or whatever, then that becomes a lot easier.
Good point. Our next question, she popped up to remind us we were to talk about is how do we reach our entrepreneurs of color? There are African-American, U.S. citizen entrepreneurs who are in the area that we're not seeing at Million Cups, we're not seeing come to meetings and apply to present. And then there's also new people, new to Minnesota, new to the United States, that have businesses. We have a lot of Hispanic entrepreneurs in the area in a variety of different businesses. Really, thriving businesses and starting out businesses. How are we, how do we reach out to them? Ideas?
I think many of us have contacts that are existing clients in those areas. And I think that, we as consultants, number one, need to start by asking for referrals, as well as being very clear. And it'd be nice maybe if we have brochures or handouts to share and then take those to those clients. And then simply, and I don't know how to put it to words, but merely ask for a referral. Say, hey, if you have anybody that is interested in starting a business, we can help. Come visit, come talk, come listen, come learn. That also spins off into SBDC type assistance too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Don't the churches, like some of the churches around here, have like avenues for people who are, I thought it was like the Catholic church in town or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like if people are interested in starting their own business or something like that, like they send out information. So, I mean, that's an avenue that we could look into.
I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah. One thing I've heard from at least one entrepreneur of color is he doesn't want to be invited to things because he's Black. He wants to be invited to things because of his business and his expertise and stuff. And the challenge I have there is when you invite someone and they come and they're the only person of color, then they feel like that. They feel like they're the token person. So we need to figure out some way to get a group of people to come at once. Mm-hmm. and then start cultivating deeper relationships, and maybe we have to cultivate the deeper relationships to get the group of people to come.
Yeah.
It's a chicken and egg thing, It really feels like it,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I've done tons and tons of invitations, and there's like one person shows up and then they never come again because they feel like they're the only person of color. So that's hard.
we have cultural centers or organizations of that type that target specific, whether it's ethnicities or things that could be reached out to. We don't really have much like in Waseca, but Mankato with a larger population base and more people of various races and ethnicities, there may be some things there that could be touched.
Good point. Diversity Council. Yeah. Cool.
That would work really good in marketing though too, you know, just basically marketing, like open invitation just for all entrepreneurs, or you know, or you know, just kind of leave the race thing out of it, you know, just see if we can't get them, you know, to where it's just like a normal, I don't know.
Yeah. If you have a small business, we want to hear from you. Exactly. Yeah. So that leads just really naturally into our last question. How do we market? How do we better market 1 Million Cups? You've already given a couple of ideas. I really like the, you know, use our own network and, you know, just try to remind and spin that up a little bit better. That's a really good one. GMG baskets was mentioned. Churches, cultural centers, those are good ideas. Other ideas on how we might get the word out? Make sure
I
that
think we need to be in front of professionals, such as, you know, banking, insurance, individuals that deal with entrepreneurs maybe, or folks starting their business or related on a daily basis. You know, I think it's important that they understand, and then, you know, extend an invite, you know, to and through them, to where, hey, if they know of anybody, you know, have them come visit. You know, here's our information. Here's how they can look us up on Zoom. Here's our link. You know, make that readily accessible. So.
Also, I know that like every week the only time I see anything about this is like on the 1 Million Cups page, like for the members who are here so often, like we should be sharing this on Facebook. We should be, you know, broadcasting this from internally just as much as we want to be externally.
Yeah.
Makes any sense.
It's weird. I was just thinking that.
we usually do, well, we've been trying to do Facebook video, like Facebook Live. We chose to not do it this time because the breakout rooms don't work very well with Facebook Live. Plus, we wanted people to be able to share their ideas, and if they didn't like something, to be able to say it and not feel like it's going to be on Facebook. But most of the time, we're going to do Facebook Live. Yeah, I like that.
I would suggest reaching out to school districts. A lot of them are now getting career pathway coordinators, and seeing how they could integrate with the student body as they're looking at, again, just different business aspects, but just as they look at into anything. I've learned from attending 1 Million Cups that a lot of the entrepreneurs don't start out thinking they're going to be a business. They went into something that they wanted to do through somebody else and realized they wanted to be on their own. And so a lot of times I hear people didn't think they needed any business classes. So it's more about engaging folks, even if you're in, I'm going to use art, say you're majoring in music. Doesn't mean that someday you might not have your own business related to that music profession. So encouraging folks that business touches you in all aspects of life, and getting those students maybe young.
Really good suggestion. That gets me thinking about the university too, like talking to the Career Development Center about people who are thinking about being entrepreneurs. That's great. Thanks, Leah.
Well, you know, and I know we have a good foothold in MSU and Gustavus and stuff like that, but like South Central, you know, that's where I got my business degree, and I've never heard of anything like this before. So, you know, getting a foothold in there or other colleges in the area too.
Yeah.
Another suggestion would be your community education groups, again, usually through cities or through the school districts. They usually put out brochures on a regular basis about basically any kind of class stuff, and they often have something related to business.
Well, I have to say we rocked it here. Thank you for all the awesome suggestions and your willingness to share. Brittany, you have all your notes. You ready to go to report out?
I think I got it all, so.
Awesome. Thank you all so much.
All right, welcome back. that went well for everyone. I think you can still see my screen. So all of the 4 questions are on there just to have a guide. I also have a 2-minute timer up on the screen, which I hope you guys can see. So let's see, room number 1, Gary's room. Who was the reporter there?
That's going to be Mason. Mason.
All right, Mason,
Yep.
would you like to go ahead? I'm going to start your timer here and let you go ahead and answer these questions for your group.
Sure. Okay. So for the first one, ideas for how to make 1 million cups better. We talked about saving comments from the chat, so presenters can go back and see after their presentation. I know we talked about how there was a lot of there's usually a lot of comments in the chat and you can't get to all of them. So finding a way to save those so they can reminisce on those. We also talked about maybe like a little segment of like side gig stories. I know there's a lot of students at MSU who are entrepreneurial minded, but like what they're doing is like a side gig. It's not necessarily something they take serious, although it very well could be. And giving them the opportunity to kind of 2-3 minute spiel. I think that'd be a great opportunity. So for the next one, how do we get more people to apply to present? I think student outreach is something we talked about, using the students who come to 1 million cups to outreach to their peers who may be starting something. Could be a great source to get new applicants. And then how do we get better engagement from the diverse groups in our region? So we talked about outreaching to high schools. I went to high school in Texas and we didn't have anything where entrepreneurs could go and learn or be coached or do what they want to do. So something like that could be a great option. And then also for suggestions on how to better market 1 million cups, we talked about tabling at RSO fairs at colleges, specifically here partnering with Enactus. The RSO fair has usually over 200 to 500 students go through there, and just having the word out for 1 million cups would be a great opportunity. And then also using IBE, the Integrated Business Experience Program, where students at MSU start their own company. They're all entrepreneurial minded, usually going for the entrepreneurship minor. Using them and maybe having them also present could be a great option.
Wow, what a great list of input. That's awesome.
Yeah, sorry,
Thank you so much.
I was going very fast with the 2 minutes there. So
you were on it. Those 2 minutes. Thank you so much. And thank you for volunteering to be the reporter, Mason. Thank you so much. All right, room number 2 with Bobby. Who is the reporter there? Like the room had Gabby, Caitlin, Lindsay, Mark, Matt, and Nikita in it.
Yeah, who is our reporter taking notes?
Do one of you want to jump in and give some of the feedback?
I mean, I can. I kind of
Okay.
talk a lot in the group, so.
Awesome. What are some of the things you guys talked about?
Okay, so ideas for making 1 million cups better. I think we're on a really great path right now, and I think the group had that consensus that we were on the right path of how we want to present and make it accessible to different communities. So just expanding on that and a little bit more outreach. So we had a couple different ideas on how to get people to present with more diverse groups and whatnot. So the idea was just how different grant opportunities for entrepreneurs will go and present to city councils around the area. We figured 1 million cups could kind of tag along with that and get kind of a roster of our members that currently present here, and then just maybe the 5 closest communities to where each member kind of already lives, reach out to their city councils or chambers and start getting up an invite from one of those members to come to 1 million cups, show them how amazing it is, and then ask them to showcase their entrepreneurs within their community and kind of get the word spreading that way and just kind of be more active instead of passive in our recruitment. And then just kind of really kind of tag along with that. Bobby had suggested bringing forth and showcasing all of the grants that are available to all the entrepreneurs and how different people are utilizing that in our communities. I think kind of our roundabout conversations that we had.
Julie, you're still on mute.
Thank you. I knew I was going to do that too. I was like, do I even mute? Ryan had said that he would too. We had one of the groups mention the chat, saving the chat. So he said that he'll go through that. We might hit right at time getting through all these questions. So just FYI, if you want to hang out for the extra couple minutes there, we can wrap some little things up. But thank you so much, Gabby. Great input. All right, we're on to group 3. I have so many windows open. Room number 3. Awesome. Tyler, go ahead.
So our initial discussion for making 1MC better was network focused. We thought the breakout rooms like we did here were beneficial. We discussed maybe one presentation and a networking event piece. We thought it would be a good icebreaker to have a task to know something, to get to know a particular something about the other people in the group, just to drive the conversation within that. How to get more people to present. We talked about people that were just considering being entrepreneurs, and likely there's a development and cultivation process there, and simply asking questions each week to create a funnel of sorts to as a pathway to entrepreneurship for those even simply considering it. Better engage diverse groups. We focused there on was it Instagram is what we talked about, targeting a younger group. I assume the conversation there is focusing on the international students from MSU, although that wasn't explicitly clarified. One of the things we discussed also that maybe doesn't fit these questions well is that the discussion to this point has been finding younger entrepreneurs that are transitioning from full-time jobs to entrepreneurship, but there are plenty of people that are in the 50s and 60s that are going to transition to that mindset as well. And additionally, clarifying the purpose of 1 million cups and what it does. So to an outsider, to us, it may be painfully clear what 1 million cups does, but to somebody that has no association, that might not be as clear.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tyler. That's great feedback. Outstanding. And we have one more room. It looks like room number 4 with Yvonne, who was the reporter there.
That was me.
Hi, Brittany. Go ahead.
All right. So for our ideas for making the 1 million cups better, we kind of went with the education thing, just explaining in greater detail what actually 1 million cups is. And then, yeah, like focusing on the marketing, like getting us out there more, getting more engagement and stuff like that within not only our community, but other communities as well. Then when we were talking about how to get more people to apply, we talked about like relying on our current participants. So like maybe, at the end of a session or something saying like, hey, what are you thinking? Like, who do you want to see next week? Or who do you want to see in the upcoming weeks or so, something like that. And then kind of de-emphasizing the presenting part and more like, hey, will you come talk to us about what you do? Come educate us on what you do. Because I think a lot of people are intimidated by the fact that it's called a presentation and you're a presenter. It's very like, comes out as very like, just formal, and we want to kind of keep it more casual and stuff like that. So how to reach the diverse groups in our region, just using our existing contacts, asking for referrals, marketing information and packets, getting that out again to either our community education, cultural centers, stuff like that. And then suggestions on how to better market. You know, we like the GMG baskets thing, using our own network, churches, cultural centers, sharing the 1 Million Cup links on our personal pages and stuff like that, school districts, colleges, community education, and then banking and insurance professionals. Obviously, if they're starting new businesses, they're going to need, you know, a backing of some sort. So reaching out to them.
That's awesome. I'm just in awe of you guys. I love that there's some common themes among all of you that I just never thought of personally, and we aren't doing. I think there's some great opportunities here. I can't wait to get together to discuss all of this feedback. And with that, I think I'm going to hand it back to Ryan. We are at about time. If you would like to wrap things up for us today, I just want to thank everyone for allowing me to kind of facilitate here, and thank you for all the feedback.
Yes, thank you, Julie, for facilitating today. Before I get into the closing, I will quick teach people if there was anything in chat that you wanted to save. Saving your chat is it's easy, but it's not well explained. So if you go to the chat, you'll see a little box with 3 dots in it. If you click on that, you get a save chat option, and then you get a green bar that says chat saved and show in folder. I recommend clicking that show in folder right away because it picks a somewhat random folder to save your chat into. It's going to save your meeting chat as a text document, and from there you can copy paste that into Word or save it wherever you want. But that's the best way. If there was something important in chat or email addresses, contact information that you wanted to make sure you have after the meeting, you'll have to go and use that save chat function. From there, just so you know how we're going to use this, first, if any of you are interested in being organizers, like Julie, Gary, myself, Sarah, Yvonne, Caitlin, Bobby, I hope I didn't miss any of the other organizers that were on today. Please let us know. We're always looking for more people. Dustin, is that you saying that you'd like to be an organizer? Okay, thank you. Dustin, you have been fantastic since you started joining these. So I do want to say thank you. You've been a great addition to these meetings. So the organizers, we're going to get together with a lot of the feedback that we've been receiving today, and we're going to come up with a plan for how we can start implementing these to make 1 Million Cups better. In November at one of the meetings, and I actually don't know if we've picked a specific date, but we will be reporting back to the group on the action plan that we've created from the feedback that's been given today. Outside from that, we'd love to see you all next week. It is on the road, so we will have presenters from New Ulm presenting next week. Follow us. I would say the best way to follow us is on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. That was fun.
That was fun.
Nice job, Julie.
Thanks.
You're a good facilitator.
Yeah, very well led, and I appreciate your diligence of keeping it on track, but still covering the points that we wanted to cover in the outline.
Mm-hmm.
Super.
Thank you.
It's so hard to
And
be
so-
timekeeper, isn't it? It's great.
Yeah, I was trying to look at the chat and the participants and the time and the and the outline and the PowerPoint. It's all good. I got it.
I'll follow up with Dustin and send him info, the organizer playbook and stuff for him to review and decide if it's something he'd like to do.
Brittany also reached out and expressed interest in being an organizer.
Cool.
Very cool.
She has not presented yet, so I'm going to run next door and talk to her about presenting though.
Oh
Yeah.
Get her to present.
Such great ideas today. There was a comment being very clear about, I think we try to say it, but I don't think we just come out and say, and the presentation note of not calling it a presentation, but just like, hey, come chat about, oh gosh, such a good.
Yeah, that was Brittany who suggested that. She said,
Yeah.
People get intimidated by, we used to say it was a pitch, right? That's too intimidating. Presentation's too intimidating. She's saying, just say, come tell us about your business. Give us a tour and tell us about your business. And she says she thinks that would break it down a little bit more for people and not have them feel like it has to be this slick thing, It was neat.
For sure.
Cool.
I
Well,
look
you guys
forward
have a
to
great
looking at
rest
the
of your day.
recording and all that.
Yep.
You too.
I gotta
Thank you.
run.
Hey, guys.
Bye.
See ya.